Good evening, it's April 21st, Monday, 2025, and I'm Studio 6A. And it's my pleasure and honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Good, very good, very good.
You're looking well.
Yeah, thank you.
I heard you had a lot of visitors the last 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
Chris and Faith Naus from New York came to visit you.
Yeah.
What a wonderful couple, aren't they? Nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys talk about?
Everything, yeah.
It was good to see him.
They want to move down here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his dad's moving down here too.
Oh, yeah, everybody's moved down here.
So we had a nice visit from Chris and Faith Norris, and it was a beautiful time to see them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Chris is an electrician also, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a hard-working guy. He really is. Okay, that's good news. And I heard today you had a special visitor, Amber Nicole Jeckovich.
Oh, yeah, she's sick though.
Yeah, she's getting better. Amber is a full-time missionary and a surfer, and during her break time she visits Mr. Jeckovich, probably now at least 4 times a week, maybe 5. That's beautiful. So you've been pretty busy, huh, Mr. Jeckovich?
Right?
You've been pretty busy, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're going to be picking up on chapter 5 in your book, and this is when you're first meeting Ann Mahaney when you're at boot camp in Owensboro, North Carolina, Owensboro, Kentucky, where she lives, and you're in boot camp in Evansville, Indiana. Well, how many pages is this book?
849.
Yeah, that's a large book. You did a wonderful job on that book. So I believe we're the second time around on chapter 5 and on page 89, but before I start reading it, in order to open up the laptop that has your book in there, I'll need the passcode.
42965.
All right, and that's also your dog tag.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Jeckovich was Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich's motto is, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. We had certainly a lot of questions the other day on marriages, and you set a fine example on marriages. How long were you married for?
69 years.
Yeah, 69 long and wonderful years. And the other day we were talking about different aspects of Mr. Jeckovich's book about marriage, and one of the most important aspects you said was getting to know the person, right?
Yeah.
Getting to know the person. And this is for the ladies, and these are just excerpts of the book pertaining to marriage, and this is to the lady discussing a man. You truly don't know a man until you travel with him.
Yeah.
You truly don't know a man when money is involved.
Oh, yeah. That's the big one. You
truly don't know a man until you see him when he's angry. Yeah. You truly don't know a man until you live with him.
Yeah.
The honeymoon phase gets over quick. You truly don't know a man when you see how he acts when he gets drunk. Oh, yeah. You truly don't know a man, so think about this, ladies. Just don't jump into something, right?
Oh, yeah.
They might truly regret it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bad guys out there. A lot of lazy guys, too. You truly don't know a man until you see how he deals with loss and grief. You truly don't know a man. You truly don't know a man until he doesn't get to sleep with you whenever he wants. You truly don't know a man until he's broke or has limited funds. You truly don't know a man when you see how he treats his family, friends, and strangers. So these are all good excerpts of your book, and I think it sums up the best. Vet the person well.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, as we said, was married for 69 long and wonderful years. When he became engaged to Delphine Stulak Jeckovich, he was in the Basilica, the Roman Catholic Basilica in Tonawanda, New York. He asked Delphine's hand in marriage. She accepted, and then they walked up to the altar together, and they prayed together for a long and happy marriage. How'd that prayer work out?
69 years.
Yeah. The prayer was answered. The prayer was answered, that was for sure. Mr. Jeckovich was in the Combat Division, Infantry, during World War II. He fought in many battles, mostly in the snow, and it was the coldest winter of record when he was fighting the Battle of the Bulge, and sometimes the wind chill was below 30. Did you have the proper clothing?
No, no. After a while we got them back, yeah.
But most of the time you didn't.
No.
Who had the proper clothing?
People in the rear echelon.
The rear echelon that never made it to the front line had the proper clothing. Kind of like today. Things happen like that today all over the place. When Mr. Jeckovich went into the service as a teenage boy, they affectionately called his division the Diaper Division. And that's because
they're all 19 years old.
all young kids.
Yeah, they're all drafted.
All young kids. But then later, when they held down Bastogne, 97% casualty, they had to hold down Bastogne because Hitler was all over the place. He had 600,000 fighters all over Bastogne, and if the Nazis would have took a foothold in Bastogne, the war might have turned out a lot different than it did. And they couldn't get air support. Mr. Jeckovich couldn't get air support because the snow blizzard, it took 3 days. So holding in Bastogne, and 3 days later, there was 97% casualties. And at this time, they no longer were referred to as a Diaper Division. Now they were nicknamed affectionately the Bloody Bastards of Bastogne. You see how things change. When the beginning of the World War II, total there was 16,400,000 young men and women in the war. And now we're down to less than 6,000 combat veterans like Mr. Jeckovich, and we're losing them at a rate of 150 good fighters per day. So if you have any questions for Mr. Jeckovich, please text him at 407-366-0000. Text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. Mr. Jeckovich will answer all text messages. We say it a little bit differently at Hague Point to Fusky Island, South Carolina, so all you Southerners will know what to dial. Text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. Mr. Jeckovich's mind is like a library. Ask him any questions which you might, and he's knocking, or care to, I should say, and he's knocking on the door of 100.
21.
Hear that knocking?
Yeah, eternity.
Yeah, for sure. He's knocking on the door of 100. He was born in 2025. Excuse me, I wish he was. He was born in 1925, and he went through the Great Depression. How did that treat you?
How the depression? Well, I was small. I don't understand it.
You weren't really affected then.
No.
Mr. Jeckovich, now in 2025, he'll be 100 years old. As I said earlier, his mind is like a library. He'll answer any questions you text him, no matter what they are. It doesn't have to be war related. And he has a good habit of answering all text messages. During World War II, Mr. Jeckovich was shot in the shoulder by a sniper. He was beat up, stabbed, bombed with a real dirty bomb, a dirty bomb that had old razors and tools and scrap metal to cause you more damage and harm when it hits you. Mr. Jeckovich still has shrapnel in his leg. And if he goes to an airport, what happens?
Yeah, bring a buzzard.
The buzzards will go off. And Mr. Jeckovich also has frostbite that's still bothering him.
Yeah, I still got it right now.
80 years later, frostbite don't go away. And trench foot.
Huh?
Trench foot.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
What?
Did I miss anything?
Lost a hip.
There you go, he lost a hip. We learned a lot of stories from World War II. And if you folks are skiing one year and you get a case of frostbite, don't run into the lodge and stand in front of the fireplace. Make yourself a snowman and rub it over the area of the frostbite. It'll get the blood circulating again, and you can pretty much heal yourself. But if you go into the lodge in front of the fireplace, it'll probably not be a nice outcome. Not be a nice outcome. So text Mr. Jeckovich if you have any questions for him, and he'll be glad to answer all text messages. Well, I'm going to pick up reading a couple pages on page 89, Getting to Know You. This is when you're at boot camp or you're getting to know Ann Mahaney, a resident of Owensboro, Kentucky. So, you want to read some or you want me to?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Annie looked at them and agreed, and stood there for several moments and watched them play, squabble, and began to smile, and I could see that she was enjoying watching the children play. So this time you're in the park and you're watching the kids play. Very nice. There was a small band playing at the band shell adjacent to the lake. We sat at a nearby picnic table and listened to the music. I grasped her hand and started to run my fingers over her perfectly formed fingers and nails. She had a light shade of red on her nails, and I ran my fingers over hers. I became aroused and excited. We sat there for quite a while, listening to the music and occasionally looking at each other. Sitting there, I suddenly thought that I could never knowingly hurt Anne in any way. I would never disregard her as some weekend fling
17.
and never see her again. I felt deeply about her, and more I saw her, the more I knew about her, the more our relationship to think of anything permanent. The best possible approach for Anne's sake and mine was to pursue our bond as we were doing. I consider myself fortunate to be part of it and would try to understand as it unfolded to where we did not know. The music stopped and we started back at our picnic table. Anne was still rather quiet, and as I had not seen this sign of her personality, it made me feel more uncomfortable and more sympathetic. As usual, she was still her poised, dignified self. But there was the nuance of foreboding or the detachment in her mannerisms. I tried to cheer her up, thinking that was what she needed, but seemed not to be able to detach herself from the mood she had gotten herself into. She started to clear the table, picnic paraphernalia, and return it to the car. There were several bottles of Coke still in the freezer chest, and we decided to drink them as we sat in the car, watching the sun go down beyond the lake. Was it a large lake?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly I started to talk about my family, my mother, my brothers, and my sister. I was startled that I brought them up, as I never talked about them to anyone. I was not saying anything disparaging, but just the general everyday happenings that go on in any family group. I'm sorry, Anne abruptly spoke out. I'm sorry for your being so moody and melancholy, she just whispered and touching me. I understood her sensitivity, took her in my arms and held her. She moved closer to me and said, well, I'll drive you to my house and you can meet my mother and spend more time and get acquainted. How was her mother?
Her mother was all right, yeah.
How was your father?
Father wasn't there.
He was dead, right?
No, he was working or something. I don't know, I don't think he was dead.
Meet your mother? I looked at her in bewilderment. I'm not good at meeting mothers, as I've had a couple run-ins. As I've had a couple run-ins with my own. Oh boy. All right. She laughingly said, who hasn't, and ignored my parent anxiety situation to meet another person's mother. Anne was enjoying my consultation, and if anything else, it had broken the mood she was in. Page 91. As we drove up to our house, I asked her again if she wanted to do this. Anne got out of the car, walked over to my side, took my hand, and walked with me up the front steps. Was it a big or small house?
Small house, small house.
We both entered the house. And how was the decoration inside?
Well, modest, modest.
Was it a 3-bedroom, 1-bath?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anne's mother was sitting in the living room reading, and she looked up at our approach. I could see the striking resemblance between Anne and her from her mother's appearance. She had the same dignified posture as Anne, and when she spoke, there was much in her voice that was mindful of Anne. Mother, I want you to meet my very good friend, John.
Oh.
Anne proudly stated, he's the person I've talked to you about. I was embarrassed with Anne's introduction of me. It sounded so formal and stuffy. We shook hands, and I said that I had been looking forward to meeting you, Anne's mother, which was an untruth. As we made small talk, I could see that she was a warm and loving person. As we made more talk, she mentioned that Anne had talked about me several times, which brought a look of despair from Anne and a smile from me. As we talked a little about my family, how I liked the service, and what our plans were after leaving the Army. I said I had not thought of it too much about the future, and I was thinking only about my life at present. Anne's mother told me a little bit about her husband's unfortunate automobile accident and how difficult it had been for Anne and her to adjust to his absence. I sympathized with her and mentioned the difficulty we had gone through with the death of my father. Your father died when he was 43 years old.
Yeah.
Your father, a legal immigrant from Russia, came through Ellis Island, and he came to the United States to work, to give his family a better life than he had. His father's name was Marion Jeckovich. While he was making cement on his third job that day, he passed over the cement and died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Marion Jeckovich, as I said, was a legal immigrant from Russia, came through Ellis Island the right way, and he came to America to work the better lives of his family. Not like these illegal immigrants today. They come to America to work the system. System, yeah. So when your father died, you were 11, and then the book was written in honor of your mother, and it's titled Their Mother's Sons. It tells us how you took care of your mother from your age 11 to your mother passing away at 89. So tell us a little how you're notified that your father died.
The police came to the door and said, "Father got hurt. We're going to take him to the hospital."
And did they drive you there?
Yeah.
Did you sit in the back or front seat
He sat in the back.
of the police car?
Yeah.
And when you got to the hospital, did they escort you in?
No, they just dropped me at the door.
Just dropped you off like a taxi cab would, right? And then when you got to the front, you got front door, the reception area, what happened
I
then?
asked them where my father was, and they said, "Well, we'll take you downstairs."
And then what did you think when they said that?
And I said, why are we going downstairs? And she says, "Well, we'll take you down."
Because you thought you'd be going to the second or third floor to see your father recovering from maybe a sprained ankle or something like that.
Yeah.
So you went down, and where did that take you?
He took me down to the morgue.
11-year-old boy down to the morgue. And what did they tell you then?
He said, "Your father had a heart attack."
Was his eyes closed?
He has his eyes closed and had a little cement on his pants. A little
That's
bit
from
on
the
his
job,
face.
right?
Yeah.
And what did they ask you to do
He
next?
said, "Go through his pockets."
So they asked the 11-year-old boy to go through his pockets. What did you find in your father's pockets?
Can of that Prince Albert tobacco, those papers that they roll the cigarettes with. It's the matches, the keys to the house.
Anything else?
That's it.
How about change?
Well, he had a couple quarters, and that was it.
And so at that point on,
8 minutes.
Mr. Jeckovich started taking care of his mother. And that's why the book is titled, once again, Their Mother's Sons. Their Mother's Sons. You put plural in there, why?
Huh?
Why'd you call it Their Mother's Sons instead of son? Why'd you plural it?
Well, there were sons then. There were sons involved.
And how did 2 other sons do?
They were out of the picture all the time.
But you still gave them credit to
Yeah.
call them sons.
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. That was a younger and older brother, right?
Yeah. The younger brother never seen him. He was always drunk, or we had to pick him up. He ran away from home and all that
Really?
nonsense.
And your older brother?
He was in school.
So it was basically up to you.
Yeah.
And did your mother work?
She worked at Carver. No, she worked at Kresge then.
Or where did she work eventually?
Worked at Carver,
And what did she do there?
a small wheels inspector.
That must have been hard on her eyes.
Yeah.
I heard she worked there for many years, and they had a hard time
Rhine
returning.
River, yeah, the people, the young woman will say that I've got that family to take care of, and this old woman is still taking my job.
No kidding. So your mother finally retired.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Didn't she work another job that she made you sandwiches?
She worked at Dr. Wright's house as a cook.
How about a 5 and dime store?
The what?
How about a 5 and dime store?
No, she didn't work at Kresge.
Kresge's?
No.
Your mother never worked the counter?
No, she never worked the counter. She was the cook downstairs.
Okay. And she make you lunches there?
Yeah.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
She said, "Don't get to make a mess downstairs."
So you didn't eat at the counter yourself?
Yeah.
You didn't eat at the counter yourself, right? Well, I got some text messages. Do you feel up to answering?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we'll just do them, take them randomly. What kind of driver are you?
Careful driver.
Careful driver. Did you ever consider becoming a preacher?
A what?
Did you ever consider becoming a preacher?
A policer?
A preacher, a minister?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay. Do you have a hard time telling people no?
So I'm telling people no.
Yeah.
It all depends what they were asking.
When you were a little boy, what was your favorite gum?
Gum?
Yeah.
The bubble gum. And they say that bubble gum sticks in your stomach, it doesn't dissolve.
I believe that. But didn't you work at SS Kreisky's and one of your jobs was remove the gum on the floors?
Oh yeah.
What did they say to you?
Linus said, make sure you get your scraper, scrape all the gum off the floor.
Did you have to do that every day?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Where did you go on your honeymoon?
Poconos.
And how was that?
It was good. We liked it. We went back with the kids after where they were older.
Do you think every couple that gets married should go on a honeymoon?
Should, yeah.
Yeah, okay. How long could you go without talking?
How long can I go without talking? Quite a while, I think.
Okay. Do you think a person can always depend on kindness of strangers?
Kindness to strangers?
Yeah,
Depends what the strangers are.
yeah. Do you have any nervous habits?
Anyway,
Any nervous habits?
nervous habits?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay. Have you ever been on an archery team or shot a bow and arrow?
Oh yeah, I parked that
Okay.
range there for that. Yeah, I did that.
How do you handle all the panhandlers we got all over now?
All the what?
Panhandlers.
Panhandlers?
You got them everywhere now.
No, they're a pain in the neck.
Okay.
They don't want to work.
Yeah. Minutes, please. Are you scared of spiders?
The fighters?
Spiders.
Oh yeah.
2 minutes, 20 seconds.
You dated a lot of girls. What was the worst date you ever had?
Worst what?
What was the worst date you ever had?
Worst date I ever had?
Yeah.
With a girl? I don't think I had a worst date.
You had all good ones. That's
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
2.
2? Oh, here's a good one, because you said you made guns out of rubber inner tubes, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever made a ball of twine or out of rubber bands?
Oh yeah.
You did that? Oh, that's interesting. What was your favorite way to stay in shape?
Stay in shape, running.
Running.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich ran for 80 years. When he started out, it was not fashionable. And when he's driving down the streets of Niagara Falls 80-some years ago, what did the people say to you?
Get off the street, you bum.
Get off the street, you bum. Because they didn't realize that you're jogging for health.
Yeah.
And you weren't jogging because you didn't have an automobile.
Yeah.
And did they throw things at you?
Well, once in a while, yeah.
Also, they throw empty cans of Genesee beer at Mr. Jeckovich. And then also, one time they popped him in the head with a full can of Campbell's soup. Minutes?
Yeah.
50 seconds, 40 seconds.
When you went jogging, I see a lot of high-dollar jogging uniforms like neon belts and hats and gloves. And
Now you do.
did you ever wear that?
No, I wore a pair of pants, t-shirt, sneakers.
So all those years, you never got into this fashion?
No, I never got into fashion.
Why do you think these ladies are into all this fashion?
Well, that's the kick they're getting out of it. They're not running. They want to dress up. They want to dress up, show off.
Minutes?
14 seconds.
Well, so you never got involved in that?
No, I ain't get involved with that. Oh.
Yeah. Did you see a lot of people today involved in The fancy clothes?
Oh, yeah. I don't see them, I don't